Hello.
Oh, no audio. Apparently, no
According to
audio.
chat, you have no audio.
Yeah. Santi has no audio. Hello, guys. I don't know if you can hear me. Hi, I'm Saul. Welcome to another episode. Basically, Sherman's like, we're going to jump right into this. But first, we're going to be... There's a little thing called a fan battle. There's a little guy who makes it. His name's Noah. You might know Noah. He might be
He is
around
sitting
here
right
today.
there.
I've never heard of this person.
Actually, his doppelganger is in the middle, actually.
Noah is perfectly average height. He is not a little guy. He is.
Yeah. So yeah,
he
it's
is a real man,
it's
real boy.
just your audio. So yeah, today we're gonna be.
I think I'm fixed. I think I'd fixed it.
Chat, can you hear him?
Am I audible? Do I have the ability
Chat
to
has a
reach
delay,
the
so we're not
masses?
going to find out for like a little bit. But
Well,
I can hear you. I can hear you. I have
Yes.
the stream open.
I've won. I did it. I've been completely thrown off, but I'm just gonna keep rolling. Just to introduce everyone real quick, in case this is your first time, we have Saul in the top left corner of Saul's versus Blogs and of Doomsday Duel. Say hi.
Say hi.
Delightful. We have the Dark Lore Master, a regular on this show and a renowned Sonic fan.
I just want you to know what you see on screen right now. That is not a threat. That is a promise.
what are you
We
talking
have-
about?
What's on
There's nothing
screen?
on screen right
What's
now.
on screen?
We have the Wizard Lizard. I don't know what their deal is, but they seem cool.
Hey there, this is my first time, and if Restream had its way, I wouldn't have made it at all.
Radical.
And we have the two debaters. We have Noah, who is representing Star Butterfly, and we have me, who is representing Sally Acorn of Archie Sonic. Now, there's a very specific reason why I chose Sally Acorn for this debate, which is I've lost twice on this show, and I don't want to lose a third time, so I've grabbed the Archie Sonic character before Noah could.
Crazy. That's
It will
crazy.
not save you.
All right. The streak ends here. It's not a streak yet because it's only 2, so I'm never gonna get a streak. So
Nah, I
anyway,
trust in Noah.
Should we, I guess, get into our little 60 seconds?
I suppose the 60 seconds it makes sense. I want to go first.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe no, because it's his first name in the title, Star Butterfly. But oh,
Okay.
As I said, not a threat, a promise. Why am I?
All right, enough messing around. Here's why Sally Acorn's gonna win. 60 seconds. Sally Acorn is a character from the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series made by Archie Comics. Alright, your turn, Noah.
you have my vote already.
I'm voting against you because I'm a contrarian.
You son of a bitch.
Am I
Hey,
on?
what can I say?
Yeah, this is your 60 seconds.
Your 60 seconds starts when
Your
you start
60
making
your
an
60
argument.
seconds started an hour ago. Go do it.
Yeah, I won't deny that Sally is an OG Sonic character. This is objectively a true statement, but I do not think that will guarantee a victory in the way some people might think. I think Star is a lot more powerful than you might think. Even at what like Death Battle put her at, I think she gets way higher. She has some crazy abilities, and I actually do think she has what it takes to beat Sally here. I think Sally has some weaknesses that can be exploited, and I think Star's arsenal and power and everything she can do is just way too much for Sally to keep up with. And I think eventually she will be overwhelmed and put down one way or the other.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, I do think this debate is interesting because I do think Archie Sonic is so like renowned for its overpowered scaling to the point that I think it might be like overhyped to a certain degree in some circumstances. Um so I guess the question for this one is I'm very confident in taking almost every category, so I'm kind of wondering to the jury, how do y'all what are you curious about in regards to this matchup? Like,
Well,
what do you want to know?
I'm a pretty curious individual myself, I would say. So, we actually haven't learned that much about the two of them. So, I guess kind of just what is their deal? What is their main bread and butter? What are they, and is there like, the hacks and stuff? What can they do?
Want me to go first, though?
Yeah, you can go first. What's tell us about Star Butterfly?
Yeah, Star Butterfly is the magical princess from the dimension of Muni. She has access to a whole bunch of magic and is also a surprisingly physically strong and skilled fighter. Her whole reason for being on Earth was because she refused to learn magic normally and kept running off to fist fight monsters, so they had to kick her out.
As you do.
But eventually she would learn magic, and she has a lot of crazy stuff. So yes, like your usual offensive spells, although they're all like wacky in some way. Like they all look like cupcakes or hearts or whatnot. But a lot of like her special abilities, she can, just to name a few, she can transmute people. She can send people with dimensions. She can accelerate hair growth to such a point that you suffocate in your own hair. Uh, she can stop time on a interdimensional scale. Um, she has a lot. She can wipe people's memories. She can put them in illusions. She has summons. Um, it'd probably be quicker to list the things she can't do, to be honest.
Do it. List what she can't
Yeah,
do
go
right
ahead.
now.
She can't lose against Sally Acorn.
Ah, I see what you did there. You're
Ooh.
being cheeky. I guess I should also introduce Sally Acorn. Uh, just in general, if you're not aware, I guess she hasn't been in the limelight for quite a bit of time at this point. Sally Acorn is a princess in the world of Archie's Sonic the Hedgehog. Essentially, there was the world of Mobius. We have the Mobians, which are humanoid animals that evolved from normal animals that kind of lived at the same time as like humans lived on the planet. There was a big war, and Sally Acorn's kingdom was kind of taken over by the evil Dr. Robotnik slash Eggman. And so Sally Acorn decided to, no, she didn't decide to, but she wound up kind of running the freedom fighters who were going against Dr. Robotnik's plans of world domination. So it's kind of like that Star Wars style, like Republic resistance, like fighting against the evil empire to restore the good kingdom kind of storyline setup situation. But Sonic's there. Sally Acorn's the classic princess leader strategist, but she's also just a very effective fighter in general. She's very skilled in martial arts as well. She's a very experienced and battle hardened warrior essentially. She's been on the front lines for quite some time. And she also just has like very good Sonic items that we can kind of get into slowly as the cast goes on, I feel. But the general idea is that Sally Acorn's kind of like a Leia figure where she leads the armies and she helps fight back the evil Dr. Eggman, basically. That's like her character. She's a really fun character, a great a very nice contrast to Sonic's kind of main protagonist, wild guy attitude. Sally is very like calm, composed, and she's a good leader. Basically, it's a good balance for Sonic not being a good team player sometimes. So as for why Sally's going to win the fight, I guess to just start things off, she can break the fourth wall and come into the real world. That feels helpful. She put out a hit on the author.
Instant reality over fiction arguments, like
Yeah.
off rip. What?
That's not how OF works.
She
No,
literally
it does.
busts into the author's office and has like her goons like hold him up as she like makes sure the scripts is up to her standards. Like that's pretty good
Okay.
right there, I want to say.
So
Uh,
this is
This goes against qualifying for OF actually. So
yeah, and so this is also
Sixer
like
goons after him.
this feels
the goons.
this feels like a weird that feels like a really weird feat because what the fuck is going on there? She storms into the writers' room, who are also part of that universe, and go like, are they like higher dimensional plot manipulation beings who are crafting their body down to appease Sally Acorn?
It's really funny to me. It's really funny that they're drawn in the same style.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not
not-
like it's not like in other comics where they'll have like a photo and edit characters in. They're just there.
like that's just such a strange thing to me. Like, yeah, look at that. Hang on,
Who is that guy?
that
Who is
Pitbull?
he?
is Pitbull and Archie Sonic?
It's awesome, is what
Okay.
it is. This is what's
on,
gonna
is it?
happen to Star Butterfly. Like she's
Hey,
gonna Sally's gonna bust into the castle, and she's not ready for she's gonna get jumped. Is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, to be fair, if Sally busted in and goes, change things about Star, maybe it'll actually be better. You might only
Sally
improve.
is gonna just tear apart the script of the finale of Star versus the Forces of Evil. That's what's gonna
So,
happen.
what
The
is-
writers already did
Is
that.
Sally just
Yeah,
gonna
the
burst
writers
into
already
Darren
destroyed
Nessie's
it.
office and like, yo, your writing skills, they suck ass, okay? Here's a better script. And then it's literally just and then Sally Acorn showed up and kicked Star's ass, the end. Is that what's
But
gonna
no,
happen?
I do not think Star is a character you can just jump. There are like several times when she's just like going about her day, and then like 50 monsters show up, and then she'll just punch them. Half the
Hmm.
time she won't even use magic. She will just punch them really hard, and that'll be that. But
So what, she just punches the best? Is that what she's got?
yes, she's powerful. She punches the best. But she is like suplexed and thrown people who are like 5 times her size. She is comedically physically strong in addition to the magic she has. Obviously, the magic's like her main thing, but she is also like really physically strong as well.
I do have a question because I'm a little bit knowledgeable on Star. She has a wand, right? Is she reliant on using the magic through the wand?
No.
No, technically the wand is only really a training wheel. She can use magic without it just fine.
Yeah. She needs to wand like early on, but she does learn to do magic without the wand.
Well,
And
before
she's
she destroyed all the magic and committed genocide, but like
That
was
came
later.
later. We're not using Star that late, otherwise, she's just a girl.
I will say I'm having a little
Post-series
trouble
Star.
deciding where to start and go with my arguments because normally I'm in the headspace of like trying to kind of go at the same scale and be like, okay, your character can do this, my character can do this in response. But it's like with someone like in this specific matchup, I don't know where to start because I feel like everything I bring up is really overpowered.
I guess you should just bring up the overpowered stuff now. That's kind of what this matchup is.
Yeah,
I mean,
suppose
no
that's fair.
one already brought up like dimensional time stop. I think you could get a little bit weird and a little bit wild.
I guess I do
That's
want to
my
say
line.
in
Oh, come
regards
on,
to
aren't you not
like
from around here, don't you know we gotta stay focused and down to earth? I don't fucking
We're
know.
gonna have a good time.
I do actually think like the martial arts aspect is interesting because I think that's actually an area where they're shockingly well matched because they're both like the princesses, but they will like throw hands at the drop of a hat. Like Sally will just take on like a bunch of robots at the same time, very little issue, Well, also,
You
kind
wanna
of seems
talk-
like she's dropping like a microaggression here, but we don't gotta worry about that right now.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
but like,
You wanna
multiple
talk- I'm
times
sorry.
she will just like fend off like swarms of robots, like just by like throwing hands in like a very impressive way. Like, here's one where like Eggman like summoned a bunch of robots around them, and then they just killed all the robots, and Eggman didn't know what to do. He was like,
Yeah.
well, that didn't work."
This is like the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with Star, where like the villain will show up, be like, "Go, my 40 monsters," and then they'll get punched, and then he'll just kind of leave.
You say villains. It's Ludo. It's always
Ludo.
Ludo.
It's Ludo.
Fair. Hey, hold on. Toffee comes in later. He
Coffee
gets,
doesn't show up to go, my 40 monsters.
Ludo's like, go, my monsters.
go,
Yeah.
my goon squad.
What I'm saying is, I think this should be the Torian episode, where they're just like having like really like thorough, complicated choreography for hand-to-hand fights.
Photorealistic models.
With
Well,
Archie
the-
Sonic,
the-
that's
the
not
Ace
even
Attorney
inconsistent
Yakuza bit
sometimes.
where it's like,
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I hate that.
So what can I'm really confused. What can Sally do?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
just
think I've learned
literally-
anything.
Well, she'll
you
shoot.
said-
She'll
you
shoot.
punched the
She'll
gun.
shoot Star Butterfly in the face with her laser gun.
She
Like-
has a laser gun.
Yeah, she used this to like, she has like a laser. She doesn't use it much because it's like a cartoon, but she just does like shave rocks off of a cliff. W quality, I know. So she'll just take out her gun and she'll shoot like Star in the face because she's a hardened warrior. She's fought in wars for like, it's kind of hard to get a time scale for Archie Sonic, but for at least like many years. She's been on the
Star-
front lines. She is
Star
battle
has-
hardened.
haven't they been fighting this
Star
since
has
they were
like
like 8?
Star is a. Sorry, you go first.
What were you saying, Dark Lore?
Haven't they been like fighting this war since they were like 8? Because like that's when the freedom fighters started in like one of the comics. If
When
I'm
they
not
were 5,
correct.
actually.
5, yeah, that's what it was.
They went to
That
war since they were 5, and they never stopped.
Star's also been doing stuff since she was a child, but in terms of like lasers, she has like laser dodging stuff. And if you want to talk like ranged combat, I think that undeniably, regardless of what you use for both, does firmly have the advantage at range. I know Sally has like some range options, but I think undeniably Star's arsenal is way bigger in what she can throw out from a distance.
Now, see, here's the tricky part with trying to... I will admit Star has more ranged options, but I think Sally has really good options for just kind of negging ranged options. Like, there's a really good option to, like, being attacked at a range is she has, like, a bunch of holograms that she can just spring up whenever she wants, which even fooled, like, an advanced robot's, like, scanning sensors. So, like, she could just make a bunch of clones that would immediately make it really hard for Star to figure out where exactly
See, I
Sally
think that
is.
makes it worse
Hey,
because I can guarantee you the in-character response for that. Star would not in-character go, which one do I shoot? She would just like set off a thermonuclear warhead in the middle of them.
I also have
Um,
I also have a question. Sherm.
What's up?
Can they? So they look like they're just standing still, doing nothing. Do they like copy Sally's movements, or are they just like
Maybe
Sally would have
Metal-
to stand perfectly still during the fight?
Maybe Metal Sonic is just really stupid.
I
So-
mean, like we've seen that. We
I
know
mean,
that.
hell, it looks like I could
Yeah,
tell which
yeah,
one's
yeah,
the real
yeah,
because
yeah.
they kind of look like.
But like, yeah, they're just kind of standing still. So like, would Sally just have to like?
So
Not do
they're not
anything.
literally just limited to standing still. They're just a hologram that Nicole... By the way, Nicole is Sally's AI assistant that is a really big asset to her. It gives her a bunch of abilities. But Nicole can just make the holograms do whatever she wants them to do. They're just standing here because this is like a comic book, so it's not animated. Like, the holograms
has-
could be moving around if Nicole wanted them to be.
Star has a magical assistant she can summon named Glossaric, who's an asshole.
It's Keith David,
Would
so he's
Glossaric
awesome.
do
Keith
shit
David?
in
Oh,
this
he is
fight?
Keith
Like,
David, isn't he?
genuinely, would he
I mean,
care?
Glossaric doesn't do shit at all. His whole thing is he never does anything. But okay. I'm trying to think how to like naturally actually segue into my arguments because I think we're both waiting for the other to say something.
Yeah, I feel like we both want to respond to each other, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
We're both just
Okay,
like,
so
someone
like,
say
you know what,
something
I'll
so I
ask
can
a-
prove why
I'll ask
you're
a
wrong.
question. I'll ask a question. Sherm, what makes Archie Sonic so busted? I am not an Archie Sonic comic reader, and clearly I've never seen an Archie Sonic Death Battle episode before. What makes Archie Sonic so insane?
Well,
Okay, wait, no. Here's a better question. Does Sally have any way to scale to supersonic? By the way.
yes.
You
There
know,
we go.
Sonic needs the Chaos Emeralds to go supersonic. What does he need to become Archie Sonic?
He needs to like dye his hair red
No, it. No.
and like get some freckles.
When I get you, Noah. Noah, when I fucking get you.
So yeah, what makes Archie Sonic so powerful, and is Sally also that powerful?
Well, I just think like I mean we could just start off small, but like Archie Sonic is just one of those verses that has like good like destruction feats. Like here, a fight between Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles just like destroys the universe after like a pretty brief fight. Like they just do a battle of gods. Like I feel like that's just like,
Wait,
and that's
the
a
fucking shockwave speed is back?
yeah.
In
And
his
not
fight
only is
against
this,
Hyper
like-
Knuckles,
I
Sonic
can
sends
never
shockwaves
escape
across
this.
the universe.
No, no.
No.
It
No.
literally is bending both time and space. Like it's pretty like this is not an uncommon occurrence in Archie Sonic. So it's just
Literally
like
all-
Archie
literally all my
Sonic is a
favorite
verse
franchises
that
have
is
the fucking
very
Dragon Ball universe shockwaves. I'm actually going to.
it's
jump
really
off the bridge.
fast and it's really strong.
Yeah,
I guess if we're
like,
bringing up scaling, I could also just say like this is smaller, but like Silver like got an island thrown at him and he was just kind of mildly inconvenienced. Like I feel like that's just funny. Like he got hit by an
Hey,
entire
my boy.
island. Like that's like
um,
island level we kind of lowball it just in like the versus sense because we're brain rotted, but like island level in the scope of fiction is still really impressive. And the fact that it's just such a casual thing, I feel kind of shows the scale of the verse a little bit.
yeah,
You
there
are only island level. Come on, come back to me when you're continental.
Shout out to that one post I saw saying Homelander was the weakest character in all of fiction. But
Brother.
anyways,
He's not even the weakest character in his verse.
exactly. Anyways, there's universal destruction stuff as well in Starverses. I know a lot of people bring up the one spell that's like going to destroy the universe. It's not just that. It is like there are consistent cosmic things. There's that spell. The wand is repeatedly described as a threat to the universe. Star battles like the embodiment of space and time across the multiverse. I think there's like one other one I'm forgetting, but there are like consistent cosmic things, and Star is like has one of the wildest scaling chains ever, and is like 7 levels of upscaling one-shotting universal characters. There's like a universal thing, and then they get one shot, and then someone one-shots them, and someone one-shots them, and it keeps going, and Star is like 7 tiers above this, and it's really funny. But
So
the
when
point
she's
is,
just 7 times universal, like,
no, but the point is, there are like consistent cosmic level stuff in Starverses. It's not just the one thing in the one book. It is a repeated thing that gets to this level.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I guess like we could just stop kind of like
Beating around.
I
the
do
bush.
feel like you guys are dancing around the elephants in the room of like.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Chuck it.
is saying pussyfooting around an okay thing to say?
Yeah, you can still say that
Okay,
nowadays.
I couldn't remember if
I
that
think.
was... So I think I guess I can stop pussyfooting around and I can just kind of like just more thoroughly explain the cosmology real quick. So it's like,
Well,
Yay,
before we get to
cosmology
that, I
scaling,
do
my
have a
favorite.
question.
what's up? What's your...
How's their battlefield/intelligence? Because from what I remember of Star Versus, I watched 2.5 seasons. She wasn't exactly the most brilliant fighter. mostly just go in and hit hard, whereas Sally Acorn is the tactician for the freedom fighters and has outsmarted even Eggman, who is a
Star
very
isn't-
intelligent being.
Star isn't book smart, I'll admit, but she is. I would say by the end of the series, at least, she is an intelligent fighter. She is able to adapt and think on her feet and come up with plans of attack beyond just hit them really hard.
And
Early
even
in the
then,
series,
oh yeah, something I do want to mention. Really early in the series, Star is actually able to realize she's actually like really racist. So that's a pretty good intelligent feat if you ask me.
intelligence feat, realizing you're racist.
That is like
Hey,
another
look,
weird
that's how I
connection
became
with
so
the
smart. I realized
matchup.
how deep my racism runs.
Is because there's like both series kind of tackle like societal prejudice in like kind of semi heavy-handed ways. I would say Archie Sonic does a worse job because they just get like way too in depth with some of the stuff they talk about. Like,
I'm sorry, but nothing is going to be worse than over a barrel. I'm sorry.
well, we don't need why'd you have to bring that up, Noah? We've moved past that as a society. All right, so all right. We're not even gonna tell you what that's a reference to. Don't worry about it. It's chill. All right. So
Continue.
anyway,
even I
Star
don't know
versus
if
the
that's
Forces of
referencing.
Evil has their like monster racism, and Archie Sonic has its cyborg racism, and it's pretty cool. The Knuckles Echidna
Did you just
racism
call
was not
racism
cool.
cool?
The stories are well made. Is Schindler's
Santi,
List a
you just
fun
lost me.
movie? Maybe not. But is it a good
What?
movie?
What the
Yes.
fuck, Sherm?
Santi, what are you talking about?
Am I wrong?
You shouldn't, in any context, say "Is Schindler's List a fun movie?" I think.
I said it wasn't.
Yeah, but also you just shouldn't like use it as like an argument. I guess.
Okay. Anyways.
Why is it that
Anyways.
every cast I'm in suddenly gets into a conversation about racism?
What I'm trying to say is that the
anyways.
series are good.
Anyway.
Clear the air.
How's Sally's intelligence?
Well, from like she was doing chemistry and shit as like a real legit. Like she went through like the you're a princess, so we're gonna make you like good at everything ever for no real reason. Like she's just like been trained from a very young age. Like I think she's like roughly 5 here, or I think like maybe a little older. But she's basically just like been put through like battlefield training, history, literature, physics, chemistry, all sorts of crazy knowledgeable subjects. And beyond this, she's just very I think when it comes to a tactical edge, Sally Acorn is going to have a solid advantage. A really good example is near the end of the Archie Sonic series before it got canned. Sally was turned into a robot. She was roboticized. And then when she became a weapon for Eggman, she would go to fight her friends, and she would meticulously, like, capitalize on all their weaknesses and, like, just tear them apart very, like, strategically and technically. Which goes to show, like, against an enemy she has no personal attachments to, she can be very ruthless. Like it's
Well, in fairness, she
very
would have
smart and
known.
intelligent.
These are people who she's known and know the personalities of for a long time. Can you pull up the image I sent you?
You've sent me 2 images, good sir.
The one I just sent you.
Oh. Okay.
So while you're pondering this, I can get into my argument. So this would be funny if it loaded already.
The image
No,
you sent
the
me is
other
too high
image, the other image I sent you.
Why did you bring up the first image?
You know it's not going to be this one, Sherm. Why would you be fighting me and we'll die?
Is this
This
threat?
is the
Like,
image you
Sherman,
sent me.
If you
The
don't
other
back down,
image I
5
sent you.
million will die.
They're both called Image, and you've titled them both Image.
Oh,
Just title something else when you save it. You can change file names.
yeah, there we are.
Oh,
So, anyways, my actual argument. I do think that Okay, let's talk stats. Wild thing to say against an OC Sonic character. But let's talk stats. I know you
That's just like the
mentioned
last
talking
thing
about
you'd want to
the.
talk about.
Oh no! I actually feel good with this. I know you mentioned the cosmology. Did you want to talk a bit more about that and the scope of the multiverse?
Sure. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So just kind of being real basic with it. Jocelyn, can you please pull up image one? So Jocelyn here says that there are infinite variations of the world in Archie Sonic. So just like we have infinite universes, that's not too crazy. Now, what's also interesting is in Archie, versions of the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight happened in Archie. And what's interesting about this, and I apologize for all these images being low quality. This is the really bad example, but
Oh my
in
gosh.
Secret Rings, the universes, the 1001 Arabian Nights have infinite spaces in them. So we have infinite universes, and each universe itself could be infinite. So that's already like a good baseline of an infinite amount of infinities. And then like we'll just dump everything right now. There's also just like the Chaos Force, which is above all of this, just kind of a higher dimensional realm. And that's kind of what we're dealing with when it comes to the cosmology. We've got just really good infinite amount of infinities and then higher dimensional realms on top of that, to put it simply. So like I don't think does Star Butterfly have higher dimensional stuff?
She does not have higher dimensional. I will concede that. However, I don't think that actually will be that big of a deal here. Can we bring up? I think he might actually. Can we bring up Omnitraxis?
Can we not? Can I request it that we don't?
Oh no, not Omnitraxis.
That's
not
not
Omnitraxis.
Omnitraxis.
Your Honor, my client pleads nuh-uh.
No,
I don't think
Omnitraxis,
that's the image I sent you. Hang on.
Even the YouTube captions are saying it, so it must be true.
The YouTube captions are like, hang on, where did you get that box?
Oh,
The image I sent you didn't.
I thought the text might be too small, so I added a box.
Oh, okay. So this is it is what he's saying that matters. I couldn't screenshot what he's saying, so I did have to use YouTube captions. But he does, I can confirm in the clip, he does specify that there are infinite universes. But then he also says after each universe has infinite timelines. So this is not just an infinite amount of infinite spaces. It is an infinite amount of timelines and universes and dimensions, which are all different things. And there are effects that do like mess up all of this. The guy in that picture on the Traxxas is like the embodiment of space and time, who is like spanning all this stuff, and Toffee absorbs his power and then Star beats him while he has it. And there's also a spell called I think it's is it Total Annihilation? Ultimate Annihilation?
Yeah, I think it's
Something like
total annihilation.
Some kind of annihilation, which is stated to be able to just nuke the entire cosmology. It would do it over time, but if it's an infinite thing, that is still an like infinite timeline, infinite dimensions from one spell just gone. And that would also be a speed thing, the same way as like it would need to be an infinite speed thing to be able to go across all those dimensions, because the spell does take the form of like a big like skull that like flies around and destroys everything. I have an image. Can we bring up Annihilation?
I just want to say about Omnitraxis. For those who might be wondering, Toffee one-shots. He like one-shots him, doesn't he?
It is. Yeah, Star and the other high tiers are like well above Omnitraxis, who is the embodiment of space-time, across across all these dimension timelines. This is the spell I was talking about. It makes this big skull with wings, and it flies around and destroys everything. And it's stated to be able to destroy everything, the whole cosmology, which is, again, infinite universes, infinite timelines. So the scope does get like insane here, and I do think it can match Archie. And I know that Star doesn't explicitly have higher dimensional stuff, but he's still well above infinite infinities. And the other thing I wanted to mention, Sally Sally's high end stuff comes from, I thought you'd bring it up, I guess I'll bring it up, comes from something called the Sword of Acorns. Am I correct in saying that?
The Sword of Acorns is a useful tool, yes.
Yep, here it is.
The Sword of Acorns is reliant for her to get the high end scaling, correct?
There are other ways.
Okay. Regardless, the Sword of Acorns is generally Sally's like big high tier win con thing. And I do think Star's ways around it. And I think without the sword, Sally just kind of loses objectively. I think without the sword, I do not think Sally has any real defense or scaling to Star's level. And I think Star does have ways around the sword. The time stop, transmutation, dimensional stuff, and of course, the iconic whispering spell, which destroys magic and stops magic from working. It is able to remove magic from items. And because the Sword of Acorns is a magic thing, I think the whispering spell would be able to, no pun intended, royally mess it up.
I think that the Sword of Acorns itself actually has good arguments for being immune to the Whispering spell, but I think there's some decent arguments even without the Sword of Acorns for why Sally has an edge in the fight. So I just kind of want to go over those a little bit real quick. And I think the big part of that is just, like, we can talk about speed. Like, first off, like, just some fun, let me hit up my boy Matt Pat real quick to see what he thinks about Archie Sonic speed. Which is that...
Matt Pat?
Yeah, my boy Matt Pat. You know him, you love him.
He's retired. Don't drag him out of retirement.
There's just like quick 2,000 times the speed of light. Pretty for a non versus debater like Matt Pat. This is a pretty high number. I just think it's fun that Matt Pat did a little bit of scaling one time. But that's not even really all that impressive. Something you brought up was the idea that Star could stop time. That would give her an edge in the fight. But a big problem with that is Archie Sonic characters are too fast to be stopped by time.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring this up. Here's the thing. You would have to argue that Sally not just scales in combat speeds to Sonic, but in movement speeds. At which point, what's the point of Sonic? I feel like it's hard to argue. This is specifically showing that Sonic is fast enough to do this. And I think even if you want to argue the high tier scaling like combat speeds, which is fair, I feel like saying all of them are immune to time stops because Sonic was able to move fast enough to avoid one. This always felt like a Sonic specific thing to me. I do not know if I can see other Archie characters doing that. That feels like a very, this is Sonic, he can do this. I don't think you can argue that Sally could do that.
Here's the thing.
I think you could argue that Chad and Scourge scales did stuff like that, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Here's the thing: is Sonic the franchise is about speed. Like Sonic, the main character, is obviously going to be more about speed than everyone else, but the whole franchise is about speed. Like Tails is doing Sonic levels at super speed. Amy and Cream are they're running at super speed because that's just the power set of a Sonic the Hedgehog character. They're all just very fast. That is their fighting style. And the situation with this isn't like an anti-time hack Sonic has. Ian Flynn has said that because of his speed, he's fast enough to not be stopped by time, which would be like some level of infinite immeasurable. And if Sally is a millionth of that, that's still a millionth of infinite and immeasurable, which is still some degree of infinite to immeasurable. Yeah, and the point is, like, the Sonic the franchise is just one of the things where everyone is going to be some level of infinite speed, but some people are just faster than others. That's just how the franchise works.
Yeah, but my point is, I think here at least, at best, I think we are matching in speed because I mentioned the whole thing of like the spells that cross infinity and Stowe can keep up with that. They can keep up with people who use those spells. Her own magic can make her fly around. And she outpaces again the guy who embodies space and time. So it's you can argue that both of them do reach these like incalculable numbers of speed.
I think that now this is a bit weird. This is a bit of a kind of we're not supposed to do this kind of scaling, but I think like there's a very good argument to be made that like Sally is more infinite speed than Star is. I know, like, how can infinite be bigger than infinite? But it's just like
this guy stinks.
Open the jury vaults.
Listen,
So
it's
kick
just
me out of here. I don't
we
wanna be
already
here
know
anymore.
their infinite speed in base form. Like that's just how Sonic characters work. And then they're like, oh, also let's just get 1,000 times faster in our super form. So it's just like
Yeah, but
they can
Sally,
very clearly grow
Sally
massively
doesn't
faster.
have a super form,
She has a equivalent to a super form.
which is the sword of Acorns.
I'm just saying that we have ways that Sally can get massively faster than like the infinite speed she starts at. If she was to go into,
but we're going in a circle here because you're saying, oh, she has ways to scale this high without the sword, and then I match it. Then you're like, but she can get higher because of the sword. But the whole point of this conversation is what she can do without the sword.
all right, fine. Let's bring up some non-super form reasons why she's that fast. They have the power rings, which just give them a blatant boost in speed. Oh wait, that's the wrong image. The different
That's
power
like-
ring ability. We know
looks
power
like
rings
that
can just
power
blatantly boost their speed. We see like, oh, I'm gonna use this power ring to go way faster than I normally can. And then we see they also have the red rings, which are qualitatively superior to the normal speed boosting rings.
Go back
Like-
to that last image, please.
I don't want to. Why am I going back?
I'd like to point out that Sally says, no, Sonic, there's no way you can do that in less than 5 minutes. So clearly not infinite speed, actually.
Oh, okay. Didn't
Sorry,
Star
I'm
like
confused.
have trouble chasing after a car? Like we can both do this.
I will send you the dumbbell image, so help me.
Don't you do it?
Okay,
Don't
before
you
we
do
go
it.
on to anti-feet, bloody. Okay, right.
What I'm trying to say is, even if we try to argue their similar speed, I'll argue Sally will always be faster at whatever end we choose to be at. Because Sonic is just a franchise that has ways to boost speed in various ways.
So okay, but even if you resist the
Just
time
leave it at
stop,
that.
even if we do say, for whatever reason, Sally resists the time stop, I think that even if you argue Sally is stronger, Star just has an obscene amount of hacks, win cons that would like bypass that stat gap. Star could again wipe her mind, put her in an illusory world, turn her arm into a tentacle, which she will then fall in love with. The list
Right.
goes on. This is a specific thing that happens. There is specifically a spell that turns your arm into a tentacle, and then everyone falls in love with it. I am not
Oh
making
wait,
that one
I
up.
remember that episode. That was like
Yes.
episode 4, season 1.
It happened really early on.
The
Wait, don't they
power-
like hint at like the fucking monster arm coming back, and then he just never does?
Yes,
Like,
they do.
The
bro,
power
this-
rings
this
would
seems
give Sally
so
resistance to
dumb.
most of these hacks. The power rings can give someone their sentience back after their brain has been turned into a machine. Power rings can like undo
Yep.
rage-induced possession and other like emotional manipulating abilities. The power
Have you
rings can
seen the
basically
slap
have
Sally gave Sonic even when she was in love with him? Falling in love will not save Star from Sally's wrath.
Do they protect from having her hair grow so long that she suffocates? Because that's another thing, and that worked on a clean-shaven guy. Could you imagine what the rampant hair growth spell is going to do to a squirrel?
Bad things.
Exactly. Like, I know
I
it
knew
sounds
it.
stupid, but genuinely, what is Star going to do when she is now encased in... Not Star, what is Sally going to do when she is encased in 5 meters of hair?
She would just use the power rings to undo the hair transformation.
How's she
So
going to
the
grab a power
acorns
ring when
cut
she's
it.
too
Like,
much hair?
She would already have it.
Whispering spell, go.
I
She
feel like
just scales. She scales too fast for the hair. Like she
I
would see
feel
her
like
hair start going
I
crazy,
feel like I
and she would grab
totally-
the ring before it overwhelms her.
I
Like
feel
you have
like
to. This is a
totally
classic.
tuned out.
Speed advantage is a huge edge in versus debates. We all know this.
But your speed advantage isn't quantifiable. You're just like, oh, they're both infinite, but I'm more infinite because I said so.
Yeah, Archie Sonic.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Where do we
Okay.
where do we even go from here, guys? Because I feel like I've just tuned completely in the last 3 minutes.
I haven't mentioned it also, but Star has like a
So,
Super
please. I
Saiyan
tuned out the
form
last
that can
5 minutes.
fly and shoot laser beams at people. And she can, of course, travel between dimensions. She can open portals. Just make a portal, throw Sally into hell, just leave her there.
Sally also
Um,
has warp rings to get out of hell with the warp rings.
Okay.
Whispering spell.
You really are desperate. This whispering spell is like the ledge you are hanging on to desperately to stay in this debate. Like I'm like the whispering.
Attachment of magic. I'm fighting a character with
Here's
magic
why.
items.
You know what?
Why
You know
would
what?
I not use a
Those are
spell
fighting words.
that's rid of magic items?
Do you want to know how Sally just whoops on Star with 0 magic? Nicole and her nanobots that scale to Enerjack. Let's just bring up some Nicole scaling to Enerjack real quick. Nicole can make force fields that are so powerful that a combined blast from both like Enerjack and Supersonic did not pierce through it. This is a technological barrier Nicole made that in the top left corner, that green ball, that is Enerjack and that is Supersonic. Like they're
Okay,
just
but-
fighting. They're like 100 feet away. They blow up universes with their range earlier. They are super close to this, and the shield deflects basically the entirety of the attack. Nicole could make a force field around Star Butterfly, and what's she gonna do? She's in an impenetrable force field she can't bust out of. It's not magic, and it scales above
get her-
anything she can do.
She'll get her scissors. They'll like her signature item that let her teleport through dimensions and just leave the bubble.
Alright, fair enough. But the bubble is not magical, so she has
Cool.
defenses that are more powerful than anything Star could output.
Star has spells that aren't just direct projectiles. Even if there is a bubble around Sally or Star or whatever, Star has spells that just kind of work on whoever she's looking at. And she has like the massive, like this omnipresent affecting stuff. Again, so Sally goes in a bubble. She can't get shot anymore, but she can still be turned into a bunch of heavy tentacles. So
The rings prevent transmutation.
if you use them, so, but how's she going to use them when she's a bunch of hairy tentacles? Checkmate.
She is wearing the rings,
Not
which prevent
she's
that in the
wearing
first
them?
place.
You know what? You know when you can't wear rings? When you're tentacles.
Well, tentacles can wear rings.
Not if they're really hairy.
But why does the hairiness of the tentacle prevent a ring that is on like the wrist? I imagine the
'Cause-
arm would turn into a
Because
tentacle.
they'd be too thick, you see.
The rings can change size.
Whispering spell, go.
Well, you are this
Stop
whispering
saying
spell,
that.
man.
Explain what the whispering spell is.
Explain
It destroys
yourself with the
magic. It
whispering
gets rid
spell.
of all magic. It does not need to be aimed. It's just magic is gone. It can depower magic items. It can prevent people from using spells. It can get rid of magical entities.
Can the whispering
Um,
spell be aimed, or is it a last ditch? We're destroying all
Wait,
magic.
don't you need
'Cause
to
if
touch
Star
something in order
destroys
to be
all
able to use the
magic,
whispering spell?
then she's
The-
facing someone who can physically keep
The-
up with super forms.
In the finale, she teams up with other people to cast on a multiversal scale, but it has been used earlier as well in like smaller quantities to affect specific things.
No, but my
And
thing is, didn't they have to like be touching the magic within the magic realm specifically in order to be able to like
that was
destroy
that
the
was
magic
again
realm?
that was again in the finale when they're doing it on like a multiversal scale, so they're in like the heart of all magic. It has been used to destroy and stop like individual people or things without having to be like, we have to go to the magic dimension. You don't have to go there unless you want to destroy all magic ever in existence,
Hmm.
which you don't need to do here for obvious reasons. They
I
didn't need to do it in the series either. That didn't stop her.
So the whispering spell would not affect Star's own magic.
Correct. It,
Okay.
it can be like specifically like on this thing, and then it'll only affect that thing.
Okay.
And early in its early uses, it does require like an incantation and touching and whatnot. But that's during the whole like the training wheels phase of the wand. Um, we don't. I don't know if we see her do it later. She might, but after she gets rid of the wand and it's like, oh, we're done. I can do magic without the wand or the components or whatnot. I can do it all naturally. I think the Whispering Spell would probably be able to just be used if it's just every spell at this point is just a thing she can do. The exception being, of course, when she goes into the magic realm and just does the full thing, destroy it on a multiversal scale. But that is again overkill for this.
Okay. So Sally can travel through time.
Okay.
In Archie Sonic, we have the time gems. And you might be thinking, when did Sally have a time gem? She never had a time gem in the Archie Sonic comics. And you would be technically right. But this artifact you see here, this is the same artifact that Sally used in the Sad AM show, which is what Archie is a spiritual continuation of. So they brought this back from the show and expanded on its effects. In the show, it was limited because if multiple people wanted to time travel, they would have to like be mentally in sync, like Evangelion style. But in the comics, they're like, all right, but if it's just one person, they can do whatever they want. So with this, Sally would have if Sally, who has never gotten rid of it in the show, and by death battle rules, we give her all their stuff. Sally would just have complete like time travel abilities, which I think is pretty useful in a fight, personally. I think being able to just like undo any permanent effects Star could potentially do just by going to before the effects happened would, I feel like, negate almost all of Star's more powerful attacks.
But is the item magical?
It is. The
Fill my
time
puzzle
gems
star.
are. I'm not quite sure how the chrono gems work in comparison to like the chaos emeralds. Perhaps, maybe.
Okay.
I'm trying
We've
to
been at
remember
this
how they
for an
work.
hour. We want to keep going or what?
All right, fine. I'll talk about the Sword of Acorns. I don't need it, but to bring it up, the Sword of Acorns is a sword
Does need it, chat.
that Sally uses. That the Sword of Acorns is powerful enough to destroy Enerjack and steal all the powers from Enerjack. So, like, we're saying, like, if we want to do, like, a quick draw, let's say Sally points the Sword of Acorns at Star, and Star points, like, the Whispering Spell. I would argue Sally's faster, but what's going to happen is
Yeah, because your
Star's
infinity's a
Whispering
bigger infinity
Spell
than mine, apparently.
is the Whispering Spell magic, is my question, Noah. Let me throw your own
Yes,
question
yes,
back
the
at you.
spell
Yeah,
is
it's
magic.
Well, then what happens when the Sword of Acorns absorbs the Whispering Spell? What then, Mr. Green?
It's not like a thing. How do you absorb it? It's not a thing that shoots out at you. It just you prove no more magic.
She would just absorb the entirety of the magic of Star Butterfly's wand.
But she doesn't need the wand.
She would just absorb all the magic of Star Butterfly. Like,
Also, even before she left the wand, she was able to cast the Whispering Spell on the wand without using it. Which is really weird if she needs the wand to cast spells at that point, but whatever.
Toffee falls into it.
Scaling Enerjack, horrifying image name.
this is just the example of like Mammoth Mongol pointed the sword at Enerjack.
His name is
and,
Mammoth Mogul, actually.
Yeah, Mogul.
Mammoth Mogul took all of Enerjack's power and he couldn't do anything about it. Like this
Yeah.
this is what would happen to Star Butterfly.
Does Sally keep the sword?
The sword actually, like, similar to Star Butterfly, the sword
Star
is eventually
Magic.
destroyed. So, like, technically she doesn't have it, but, like, I
Okay,
don't
but
think we want to
Sally can
start.
still.
Do we want to
Okay,
start
no,
arguing about what equipment they should and shouldn't have?
there's a difference between at one point at a certain point the sword gets destroyed, but then the character can still do all their other abilities and whatnot, versus if we use end of series Stud, the normal teenage girl. I feel like there is a difference there.
Here's my.
Somebody
I
slap
actually
me.
I prepared for this argument specifically. I saw this coming. Like, oh, should we even use the swords? You know whose opinion is law at the end of the day when it comes to the matchup? The pitchers
know.
of the matchup. Let's
Okay.
let's look at some art this pitcher has commissioned for this matchup. Oh, look at that! What's Sally using? Oh, it's the sword. It's part of
Hey,
the
can you tell
matchup.
me?
Somebody
Hey, can you
stop
tell me?
I'm stuck in
Hey,
this
can you
hat.
tell me what this pitcher's username is, real quick?
Let me double check. I didn't wasn't. I
Urge.
versatility shield.jpg.
No, no, not the image name. Can you tell me what the pitcher's username is, real quick?
Sun Urge.
Do I want to tell them? I don't know if like that. I don't know. If they
Sonali
want me.
King!
All right, yes, Sonali.
No, you're Sun Urge now.
Yeah, there we go.
So what? Why? Oh, we're just to give them credit.
So yeah.
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
I thought you were
That's
gonna call him
definitely-
biased.
I'd want to say I wasn't trying to be like a jerk by like erasing them. I just like didn't know if they wanted to be anonymous or not or whatever.
No, no, I know. I was just making a joke that like, their username is Sonali. Of course, they're doing Sally stuff.
To be fair,
this is all circular
to be
anyway.
fair, you have me here, and I voted on that same blog. I have a verdict in it, so
I
Oh
also
wait, I also had a verdict on that blog.
Well, now you tell me.
something else to consider with Sally Acorn is that her technology can analyze magic, like, and it does
Good
not
for
even
her.
like Mobian magic. She can analyze and replicate the magic from the Sabrina the Witch universe. Like, and this isn't like, oh, let's figure this out after a course of
Hey,
minutes.
hang on. That's not analyzing magic. That's it going, yep, that's brimstone.
Yeah, distinct residue of supernatural subparticles indicating cross-dimensional witchcraft. Contact portal is. This is immediate analysis. They know exactly what the spell is, originating from
Why
an
does it
alternate
look like a-
universe with alternate magic logic.
Why did it look like a Walkman?
Because you know
I'm
what?
hooked on a Sally Acorn.
Not only this, they can replicate this. This is not Mobian magic. They can replicate the magic in like a couple pages later. They're like, all right, we've recreated the portal.
Wait,
Nicole's
does
technology
this mean
can
that
just
Sally
replicate
has
magic.
Spawn's magic?
I don't think they ever fought at any point to like analyze and replicate it.
Okay.
But
But
feasibly,
they
she
still
could
met
copy
Spawn. They
any
should
magic
know
Star does.
He's a powerful magic user. Maybe we should like maybe we should analyze his magic. Like
I think
the
Spawn
picture-
unironically like left immediately. Like he saw them, thought they were chums, and left. They didn't really have time to do anything.
did you say he thought they were gnomes?
Chumps is what I said.
Oh, chumps.
He thought they were
Okay.
gnomes is crazy.
I mean, they are very
We
short.
have-
Like they might look
we
like
have-
some mythical creatures.
I'm a gnome.
We have the picture in chat saying the magic getting destroyed is a core connection, so they should both get it. I guess.
So I guess like I feel like I could have. I don't know if I did a bad job debating just because like I kind of went all over the place, but it's just because I feel like
My
this
plan
is.
got derailed like immediately, so
I just think that like there's good reason. I guess if some people think that Sally might not scale to Sonic and Speed, but I think there's like a really good example of why they should be somewhat relative with the speed scaling. Like they had a fight with like their alternate universe versions, Scourge and the alternate Sally. And what happens is like Sonic and Sally keep doing like combo moves on each other in ways that like would not work if they were not relative in speed at all. Like specifically with the context of who they're fighting, This is Sonic the Hedgehog and an evil Sonic the Hedgehog. There's no reason for Sonic to be fighting slower because Scourge would not be fighting slower. And, like, if we see in the bottom left of this panel, like, Sally, like, kicks Scourge in the chin so meanly. Like, that's a mean kick to the jaw. And, like, they could just do these combo
It is so
moves.
hard to be a Scourge fan. 'cause,
Sonic
he's
would be
so
close to his
lame.
max speed at this point, and Sally's keeping up just fine. She's got a smile on her face, she's quipping. I think it'd be hard-pressed to say Sonic is more than, like, maybe, like, 10 times faster than her. Like, they're clearly somewhat in the same tier. Like, Sonic is not thousands of times faster than Sally. And I guess, like, that's, like... Here's my final debate reasonings for why Sally wins, because we're getting
Is this
close
fight
to the
out?
end.
Okay, shall I put the poll up for you?
Yeah.
Is it? Do we think now's a
Okay.
good time for the poll?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know why not. I think you kind of covered everything.
Here's why Sally Acorn wins. I think that if they were just to fight power to power, Sally would win because the Sword of Acorns is more powerful than Enerjack, who just scales to Supersonic and the Chaos Force. I think that the Sword of Acorns would actually be immune to the magic draining properties of the Whispering Spell, because it is a more invulnerable form than Supersonic, and Supersonic was unaffected by the Genesis Wave, which was completely erasing entire magical realms, and the entire Chaos Force was erased by the Genesis Wave. And super forms, and the more powerful Sword of Acorns shield that she gets when she uses the Sword of Acorns would... I feel like there's a very good argument to say that the force field would resist the Whispering Spell. I think she's faster because Sonic the Hedgehog is just a franchise that has really fast characters and way for fast characters to get even faster. So I think Sally's going to be faster at any point. Even in base form, she'd probably be faster than, like, Star at her more powerful. And I think she also has just very good hacks. And a lot of her weapons are technological, so they wouldn't even be affected by the Whispering Spell. I think Nicole's force fields and ability to replicate magic would be incredibly potent weapons, even if Star successfully destroyed all magic in Mobius.
Okay. Yeah, as for Star, I think that I do think you could argue matching in stats. I know your whole thing is your Infinity's bigger. I don't think it is. I think stat wise they should be pretty comparable. Um, and I think when it comes down to what they can actually do, I think Star just has a lot more she can work with. I know you said that Sally does have a bunch of different items to resist or whatnot, but I still think Star's arsenal is just so overwhelming. The dimensional travel, the time stopping, the transmutation, the summoning, the hair growth, the mind manipulation. I know individually Sally has worked out defenses for these in the past, but she's never gone up against literally all of these happening at once, and because a lot of her stuff is reliant on various items, magical counter protections, I think Star has ways around that. While some of Sally's offensive options are technological, I think a lot of her more defensive stuff, in terms of hacks resistances, are magic and could be shut down.
So I do think something important to point out with the nature of how Sally resists a bunch of stuff is that not like she has to see the hacks and pull out a specific counter. A lot of these defenses are passive. Just by having the rings, she would resist the mental manipulation and the possession really before it starts. Like, we were kind of playing with the idea of, like, she would have to activate it, but really just having the rings would let her resist it by default. Just her sheer speed would let her resist the time stops. Like, sure, she has to, like, specifically throw a ring to travel out of a BFR, but, like, I really don't think that's a huge hindrance to have to create a portal to get out of a BFR. And this is not considering the fact that the Sword of Acorns itself just has, like, this shield around her that essentially negs basically any magical attack that would be thrown at Sally. Like, I feel like I haven't actually done a good job describing what the Sword of Acorns really does and what it looks like, because I was kind of trying to be coy with the whole thing. But essentially the sword is sentient and part of this, like, genesis of the universe energy field. And she actually kind of gets possessed by the sword a little bit. She's described as a vessel for the sword. And what's really important about this is she essentially, like, this is like a weird Sidorak Juggernaut situation where, like, the sword will prevent any bad things from happening to Sally with a force field that's, like, really powerful. And I think that I feel like I'm just saying the same thing a lot, but I think the Sword of Acorns has a really good shield that would just kind of neg most hacks that Star has.
Right. Shall we get into our jury vote?
Sure.
Okay, I guess I'll start.
Remember, Soam wants to end his losing streak and specifically picked just to win. So
I already have my vote anyway.
Noah, these
So-
are
I
good
might be
people
a
who would
little
not
funny.
be
I might be a
tempted by
little
such,
silly during my vote.
Okay,
such silly arguments.
I am going to be voting for Star Butterfly here. No offense to you, Sherm, but I don't think you did an amazing job on convincing me on a lot of your arguments. For one, I do not buy any infinite speed is. I'm actually higher into infinite speeds than your infinite speeds. They're all infinite speeds at the end of the day. And like Noah brought up, you'd have to eventually start arguing, at least for like the travel speed stuff, that Sally would be like around that Sonic level. And I also just don't think narratively that makes sense. Well, the sword is a really good weapon, and the barriers do provide a lot of like defensive versatility. Star just has so many ways to end the fight, whether it's through weird love making tentacles to hair sprouting out to transmutation. I just think that, like, if they're, because I think they both would be equal speed, right? I think the Omnitraxer stuff, while I think it's a bit shaky, I think it's it's good enough, whatever. Toffee did one-shot him. There's no way around that. I put in chat that he's like the Immortal from Invincible. He's just a
yes,
fraud.
I saw.
He's just a complete fraud.
Omnitraxers versus
The Immortal coming soon.
Let's go.
Yeah,
The
but
Immortal will get
No, for both of them
decapitated.
fight against Skips. Let's watch him die.
Sally is like, I mean, I won't deny she definitely has like an intelligence edge in terms of battle, but they're not really that like combative different. I would say Sar's gone through like enough at this point, and she's definitely more than willing to pull out one of her instant win spell options. Sorry. I'm funny enough, I don't think this comes down to the universal destruction spell as well, especially because we haven't seen like yeah, it creates this butterfly thing, but we haven't seen like anybody grow it that big, and it's over time and all that. So I actually think it comes down more to the transmutation stuff. And since Star is a little bit weird, she's more often than going to go for that. So yeah, I'm voting for Star Butterfly, which is strange to say. So I'm also going against myself on the blog. Whoops.
So, okay, I guess I should probably give my vote next. I am personally going to be voting for Sally Acorn. From what I hear, speed should be relatively equal, but Sally just has a lot of different answers for a lot of Star's different spells, like being able to resist the transmutation stuff via Rings of Power, or the shield from the Sword of Acorns being able to allow her to survive a lot of different attacks that Star could throw at her. And she is smarter, which would allow her to eventually go in and land the finishing blow before Star would inevitably just bring out some random spell that could work on her. And she has also fought a lot of magical foes before, like again Sabrina. So Sally would be able to figure out. She could even potentially figure out the type of magic that Star's using, and then start using it herself. So yeah, I just think that overall Sally just has more, is just going to take this more often than not. It's not a blowout for Sally, but it's definitely leaning more to Sally, in my opinion.
Right?
Okay.
And Wizard Lizard.
So I'm kind of the opposite of Saul. I'm fully convinced on Sally's win because all I heard for Star's win condition was Whispering Spell. She's got to get rid of Sally's magic, whereas Sally has the physical stats. She has this much better arsenal. And this will be a bit controversial. I buy some characters being faster than Infinity for others, like Superman and Flash are both infinite, but Flash is faster. So I could see, at least with the Sword of Acorns matching her to super forms, Sally being faster than Star. So my vote's for Sally.
Right.
And with that, I end the poll, and good old Star Butterfly has taken it with 54% to 45%.
So we need a tiebreaker. And my plan for this episode's tiebreaker is I believe Sonali has been watching the stream, so I will DM them and see what they say. Hopefully
And
they
it was
will...
nice. It was nice knowing you, Noah. You did well, sir.
Sonali, please, it'd be funny. It'd be really funny.
So I swear to God, why do you always laugh like like that's like the like?
That's just how I laugh. Fuck you.
Well, fuck you.
Well, fuck you. You're the one who came for my laugh.
Fuck you.
You what?
Now we will await the vote, but
It'd be funny.
I will say
it'd be really funny.
I am not gonna lie, I felt a little weird this whole time with this whole debate because I felt so confident that it was just like a stomp that like I didn't know how to debate it while keeping it fun.
We kind of had that issue with Roxas versus Starkiller, where a lot of us just kind of realized pretty on that it is like the Roxas stomp, but like Jobber still fought really hard to get a Starkiller argument out there. So I think it's still like, even if you think a debate's going to be a stomp, it's still worth giving it your 100% and treating it like you don't know what the debate is, even if you do, you know?
Yeah, like this is going to be spoilers for a different cast that's going to be coming out soon-ish, but I am going to be debating for Henry Stickmin in the Henry versus Second Coming cast, and that's going to be a lot of fun considering the debate and all that. But I don't know, I'm gonna try my best and see if I can BS some sort of Henry argument.
I'll be debating for the Second Coming because he's cool.
Yeah, I know. He is cool. He is really cool. And Henry is the guy who just constantly dies all the time.
I think maybe we should get a different person.
That's fine.
Vote for Star.
I'll go ask my parents upstairs if they think I won or lost or not. They have not been watching.
Wait, how about I message my mother? She's not even in the same house as me right now.
Ask your mother if she agrees with your vote or not. Do that.
My mom went out to dinner with a friend, but I'm sure I could call her up and ask if she thinks that Sally or Star wins.
Okay, so
I did it! I did it!
No! Oh wait, yeah!
Fucking
wait,
Mega Mind!
But guys, I messaged my mother.
Fucking Mega Mind! He did it!
He did it?
I did it!
He said he's gone.
Oh!
Yo, someone go check on him, okay? Is he crying in the corner?
Thank you guys for watching another cast. I guess I will let you know what my mother says because I messaged her. I have sent a message. Yeah. I have messaged her saying
y'all said Star Butterfly beat Sally Acorn in a fight to the death.
Let's make that a community post.
What are y'all on about?
Giving her opinion on the on this cast.
The reason why I tried to go into every cast like I'm pretending I know nothing about either character when I'm on the jury, right? And I think that it's down to how well the debaters do to convince me. And I just think Noah put a lot more convincing arguments out there than you going, it's Archie Sonic. I don't need to explain. Like, you could have went into, like, the
Which
sword has higher dimensional arguments.
I want to add, like 2 weeks ago in the Discord server, some said my entire plan is just to go, but it's Archie Sonic. And I said, I don't think that'll work. So
Hey Santi, can you bring up the image I sent you a little bit ago about what this cast be like?
I don't
So yeah, Star One.
she did it.
Vindication.
Megamind, I need to make that tonight.
Like, I know that there's a lot of
Yeah, this is
boom, boom, boom.
that's
Remember when that
exactly
image-
what this cast felt like this
Remember
entire
when that
time.
image
I'm
got-
not gonna lie.
Remember when that image got used as a teaser at the end of season 10 of Death Battle? What was that about?
If I had to guess, I'd say it's either Among Us versus Fall Guys or Joker versus Giorno. Joker versus Giorno because fucking GER. But Among Us versus Fall Guys in the sus and
We should probably end the cast off here, right, guys?
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about sus and beans, and you're not gonna save anything,
minutes
Saul.
at the end to talk about why the matchup's actually good, because that is part of the point of this cast.
Oh wait, I forgot to bring something up.
What?
We forgot to talk about how Star Butterfly has killed more innocent people than Eggman.
She has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is this? The
Which
genocide
version
high
of
score?
Eggman? Because Archie Eggman, particularly the second version of him that was robot but then was turned human again for the rest of the series, has a pretty bad rap sheet of like.
I think
No, it's probably better than Stars.
No, unironically,
Star has
unironically,
literally infinite
It's debatable
kill count.
whether or not he has killed more people than Star. Like, if I remember correctly, I think he like destroyed his entire universe. It's been a while since I
That
read the
is
comics.
still less than Star.
Yeah, but that's what he did in his introduction.
So would
He
Star be the
kept-
most evil thing Sally Acorn has ever fought, including Eggman?
I don't know. We'll figure this out in the Archie Eggman versus Griffith cast coming at you in Fan Battle Cast when we do this eventually.
Anyway.
I don't really know.
I think about the
sorry, derailed.
Yeah, I would say.
Good because
Yeah, let's
I
wrap
think one of
things
the
up.
reasons that's really cool about this matchup, well, I guess it is debatable somehow, so I guess we can add that check to the side of the list. But besides that, I think something about Sally Acorn in particular is that Archie Sonic in general is a beloved era by many, and I think we can all relate to some series kind of being left in the past. And I think a Sally Acorn episode would be a really cool way to kind of celebrate Archie again. I think there are other Archie matchups that do a similar thing, but I think Star Butterfly does it in a particularly good way. Wait, Star Butterfly. Sally Acorn does it in a particularly good way, because like a Knuckles matchup is funny, but it's like, it's not weird. The Knuckles stuff isn't like cherished. It's just like, look at how weird this is. Look how powerful he is. Like, Archie versions of characters aren't the same as like an Archie exclusive character like Star Butterfly to me. So again, something
Sally.
like that would be.
Stop saying
Archie
Star when you mean
exclusive
Sally.
character, Star Butterfly.
Yes, beloved Archie Sonic character,
My
Star
brain is
Butterfly.
rattled
In
by-
fairness, Star the Butterfly does sound like a Sonic character.
Yeah, I think Star Butterfly is
Hey,
a similar
Sonic fans,
situation
get on
where,
that.
Like, the series was cool, but it's kind of like, I feel like
It
it's being
was?
forgotten a little bit. I feel like it's kind of being like left behind, left in the dust. And
Yeah,
it is a
that's
good
called.
show. It's had a lot of bumps. It's had a lot of missteps, but I think it is a good show at the end of the day.
It's a comic
Yeah.
series.
I think Star Butterfly and Sally Acorn both kind of deserve their time in the sun, and I think this would be a really good way to cover both like this era of Disney cartoon and Archie Sonic in general.
Yeah, and I mean, Star did have a decent episode back in like season 8. That was when Steven versus Star came out, but it was a good episode. But like, I feel like for a Star matchup, I would like to. I feel like they could have done better, and this matchup does kind of like hit all the points that I want to see in like a Star and a Sally episode. Like this, like to me, this is kind of mostly like the best way to get Sally on the show, which is kind of why I like it. Like I like Star and all, but like I mostly want this because I want Sally on the show. I think she's really cool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Star won.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Oh my gosh. I won!
You guys,
Have you lost an episode yet, Noah?
I've only did my second one
this is
debating.
the second debate.
Yeah, he's won both of them so far.
He's
Don't
had
worry,
it
he'll
too
lose
good too
against me.
far. I'm
He'll
gonna
lose
kill
against
dog.
me.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
You won't actually.
No,
you won't
I
lose
won't.
against me. You'll lose against my special guest.
Yes,
Listen,
you won't just
ominous.
have to.
Yeah,
You won't
it is
just
very
be dealing
honest.
with me. You'll be dealing with my goons.
Well, thank you guys for watching.
Indeed.
Be sure to support the original matchup and the original pitch because I know that the pitch apparently went well. I believe, and also please comment stuff. We like reading comments. We love reading comments. I especially love when comments say about us,
I
how
feel like
amazing
the
we are.
comments have been slowing down on the videos lately, and like I miss them. People were commenting like, "Oh, this is fun ideas. I like what you're doing here." And lately,
Yeah,
I feel
y'all
like
should
the
talk
videos
about
haven't been
how
getting any
like
comments.
how hot I
like hearing
am
your
and how much you
thoughts.
just want to like see me on like some fireman calendar. Like you should all mention
Okay,
that.
okay. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. to the
Bye,
show.
bye.
Please, no, please, I need
Bye.
Cut it off,
validation.
cut it off.
Kamen Rider.